Ciara Foley, and I think Cora Scott and Rata Erie as well from School Strike for Climate. Welcome. Oh, there's only two of you.
Kia ora. Thank you for taking the time to hear us. School Strike for Climate Ototahi is a group that focuses on holding central and local government accountable on climate action and demanding that funding and resources are allocated towards your climate strategy that reflect the fact that you have declared a climate emergency. We think that many of the points made in the long-term plan are good first steps. However, there are several areas we feel where we feel more is needed.
We want to see a focus on providing green infrastructure, particularly cycleways, in the near future. This would mean bringing forward funding for and construction of the Avon-Otakaho route, Opalaho River route, and Southern Lights routes. If we are to mitigate climate change, the transition to sustainable modes of transport needs to come soon, and 2025 to 2029 is not good enough. According to an NZTA study, 60% of non-cyclists show at least some openness to cycling more. The infrastructure needs to be there to encourage them. Older cycleways also need to be upgraded, and many of the cycleways that we currently have are disjointed and stop with little to no warning. Transport is all about reaching a destination, and if the city's cycleways aren't connected, then they are not accessible. Therefore, we support the Local Connections program, but recommend that it have a particular focus on connecting students to their schools. At the moment, too many students feel unsafe biking, and several people we know choose not to bike because they don't feel it's safe. According to the last census, 50% of students travel to school by motor vehicle. This is too many. We also ask that a single agency be created to oversee public transport in all its forms. The current system is inefficient and has led to a lack of accountability over the city's public transport networks.
Climate education for future generations is also important. Future generations need to grow up understanding the problems they will face. We would like to see more funding available for climate education programs such as Enviro Schools. Librarians and libraries are also incredibly valuable, and it is a great source of education and resources for both climate change and a whole host of other issues. As a group, we rely on these services, and proposed changes will affect us. We ask that you continue to fund libraries, especially in rural or low socioeconomic areas.
We support the Council's new plan to deal with waste, particularly the focus on changing our throwaway culture, as in a sustainable world, it will not be possible to live the same high consumption lives that we do currently. We also recommend that the Council provide an incentive for businesses to pursue lower waste options, such as sustainable packaging, for example for food, and to encourage them to lower overall consumption. Change needs to come from the businesses that are providing services to communities and producing large amounts of rubbish. Without this leadership, it is a greater challenge for individuals to lower their waste production. Further education about recycling and lowering waste would also be beneficial to communities.
We have also made a submission on the climate change strategy and once more demand that the funding and resources put towards this reflect the gravity of the situation. Climate change is the greatest challenge we face, and though it is often spoken of as a challenge that our generation will face, this is not entirely true. We are not the ones with the power to act now, at this time when action is vital. You are. And it is important that this is reflected in all your policies. We will continue to hold you to account. Thank you. Are we willing to take questions?
Yeah, no, thank you. James?
Great presentation, thank you. And it's good to see the younger people of Christchurch coming and putting their views forward. So my question is, and I'm serious, would you take the time to think about standing for council at some stage during this next long-term plan? Someone like Vicky Buck, who was the mayor for 3 terms here, she was elected to council at age 19. So that'll be within this next 10 years for you guys, so good luck. That's the question.
I think, well, everyone within our group has different aspirations and aims to make change in different ways, obviously, but there are definitely people within our group who would be looking at entering politics and making a tangible change in that area.
Great.
Hey, it's a perfect answer. Thank you very much for making the time and the effort to come in. And I know that when the group came, there was a real sense that there was an immediacy wanted for answers. And I asked you to come, you know, and you've come. And I want to say thank you. It makes a difference. It makes a difference when you front up and put that in front of the whole council. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Is there a separate climate change submission that they're doing as well?
I don't know.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
A different date.
Different
Oh,
date.
okay, cool, great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Right, I've got